and welcome to Crochet, a Canadian crochet podcast. I am your hostess, Claudia. I herald from the base of the Rocky Mountains in southern Alberta, Canada, and I love to crochet. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get started, as we usually do, with what I am working on right now. I feel like I have an adage that one cannot have too many shirts, but I think I am getting into that realm of things because I'm making another shirt, which I like. It is turning out nicely, so I don't even think I showed this to you last week. Or if I did, it was just like a very, very small amount that I had done. I can't remember now. That's terrible. Okay, but I have made this. Oh yeah, I remember I showed you I do remember now, my bad. So this is how the pattern has turned out, and I think it is pretty. I had to switch or add ball here, so I'll have to tuck that in. And I don't know, it's nothing like crazy special right now. So it is a mix of, I'll get closer here. So we have granny stripe. What is that? Something looks funny there. There's a double crochet here. And then I have double crochet with the skip next right here. And then it turns to this. It's almost like a shell stitch, but it's not quite because I did 5 here and then skip 2, single double crochet, skip 2. The math worked out when I did it like that. And a shell stitch wouldn't be like that. It would be like the fan and fan and fan next to each other, but this one doesn't do that. And then next is just a row of double crochet, and then I did the opposite on these ones here, where, what did I do? Oh yes, so you chain 2 and then you like double crochet like 5 sort of into the next ones, but they all have the same top. I know there's a name for that one, I just can't remember what it's called, but that is, and then the pattern just sort of repeats itself over and over. This is as far as I've gotten on the first sleeve, and I mean, it's nothing special, it's just a little sleevey thing, but it is super cute. I have tried on the sweater and it looks great. I like it. I'm putting ribbing on the bottom, and this one I'm going to put like cuff things with the thumb hole in them to help keep it down, and then it'll be done. My edge is curling up on here, so I think that usually that stops once I've worn it a couple of times or I've blocked it. So I'll see. Hopefully that will go away because I don't like when it turns up like that. And for a refresher, we are using like we're all doing this together. You know what? You kind of are doing this with me because you guys keep me motivated to keep things going throughout the week. Honestly, we used for this one. Remember this cozy wool yarn, and I think I used, oh yeah, so I didn't use a 4mm hook. There's another hook that I like better that is a 3.75mm hook, which is basically the same thing. Like, it's just as a small amount different that it doesn't really make a difference, but that's what I'm using. And again, this is 55% superwash merino, I believe. Let me see. Yes, and then 45% anti-pilling acrylic. So I am very surprised at how heavy this feels when I'm making it. I can definitely tell that there's a different material involved other than just straight acrylic, because I find straight acrylic is quite light, and I'm like, it's hard to explain. Like, it's not heavy. Like, I wouldn't put it on and be like, whoa, or anything like that, but I can tell that it is just something different, which I like that. I think it's gonna look great. I'm really excited to finish this up, like, honestly. That should be finished by next week because this is the only thing that I'm currently working on, in spite of the fact I had a million things going on. I'm just trying, now that I've started so many things, I'm trying to like do the stuff and get it finished. So this is this project with this wool. If I was to rate this wool, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go through like a life cycle, like when I street wear it and put it in the wash, and to give you a full overview of it. But I mean, like, it's kind of, you can see it's got like that furry, fluffy prettiness that so many people like. When it's worked up, it's not quite as apparent. You can see a little bit there, but it's not like that really like woolly wool, you know. But it's nice. Like, it frogs really easily. It seems to go together really well, and I'm not shearing the yarn, which is great because that honestly drives me crazy. And that's a reason I don't love roving wool, is because it's not twisted tight enough. So you're sometimes, and particularly if you have a pointy headed hook, which I like that style. It'll just like, you can like cleave like clean through a strand of yarn, and then it makes, I don't know, it looks messy and untidy, like, and not in the good way when that happens. So I don't like that. So that is the one thing I am working on this week. Now we are going to move on to what I finished. You may notice I'm wearing something massive around my neck. It is the cowl. The cowl is done. It has been street worn. It has been washed, so I can give you a review of this. This was not a pattern. Here, I'm going to take it off and show it to you. There we go. I didn't use a pattern for this. I just winged it. And where was I last time that I did this with you guys? Oh gosh, I think I was like, I'd finished probably about this much. Maybe a little bit more. Oh no, that's right. I remember talking now. I was up to about here. So, and I said I was going to add different blocks in the next round. So I did. So I added an even number of, actually it's not quite, it's like, it worked out how I wanted it. So it's like 2/3 and then 1/3 white. And then I did 2, 1, 2, 1. And then is that the end? And then I just added just a little bit of extra that it kind of goes with this at the very end. So this is the seam here at the end. But I really, really like how this turned out. And I put a little flip in it so I can just, if I want to, I could just put it on like this and it like lays nicely. I prefer that. Yeah, so that is it. I love how this turned out. I think it's beautiful. It's so soft, so incredibly soft. And I will say, I was hemming and hawing about washing this in the washing machine. I washed it in the washing machine. I dried it in the dryer on, I think, medium heat. Yeah, it wasn't super hot in there. And the yarn did what I thought it was going to do, like the little, so I don't usually finish projects like this. So I weaved all my ends in, then I washed it, dried it, and I left them out, and then I cut them off after. I don't usually do it that way, but I did for this one just because it's so fluffy, and it did what I thought it was going to do. So those little tails, anything that was close, it got really like stuck and wound together with each other. It wasn't that you can't pry them apart, because I could, but you could definitely tell that the fibers became entwined with one another, which is fine. That's what I wanted. So I feel like the weaving the ends in went really well, and they're going to stay very secure because of that. It also, like, you can't even tell where I cut any of the ends out, which I love that. Yeah, so okay, so how would I review this yarn? So it says machine wash, or no, it said hand wash and lay flat to dry, I think. If you are very, very, very careful, I think you could get away with cool wash. And I always recommend things to hang dry because they last longer, but if you're in a hurry and you need it to dry quickly, low tumble dry with like items would work really well. It did shrink the tiniest bit, not a ton. So if you had made clothing that fit you before you washed it, I wouldn't do the wash and dry. I would hand wash and lay flat to maintain the size, unless you need to size down a little bit. I couldn't even tell you though how much the shrinkage was. Like, it's pretty minimal, but still, if you needed something to fit a specific way and you like how it is before you wash it, just hand wash it after. That would be my recommendation. This was the cozy tweed wool yarn from Michaels, and I don't even know if they have it anymore. But if you have some and you don't know what to do with it, I would recommend that you find a pattern and use it, because it is lovely and it is soft and it is warm, which I feel like I desperately need on a day like today because it snowed. I don't want that. I don't want snow. Oh, see, it's just like, I don't know. I really like it. I love how it turned out. Hello, puppy. The next thing that I finished, I'm very excited. So I finished my cowl, the Midwife blanket. Yeah, this is a very, very hard yarn to get it to photograph very well. So it just looks kind of a dingy white, and I promise it's not. It's quite cute in real life. So I'll see if I can light it effectively for photos, and then I'll put them on Ravelry. So yeah, I finished this up. I added a linen stitch border, or moss stitch. I feel like that's the more common term, is moss stitch. Oh, there, it's photographing. You can see the colors. Yay, perfect. Okay, so that's the border on it. I did 6 rows of border, so it's this size. I see it, there's like a few little dangly bits that I have to trim off, but this, I've already washed it, and I may wash it one more time before I take it in, because it's just been sitting on my dresser for a little while, just to not get into baby toy rotation or the puppy sometimes likes to lay down on these things. So I'm trying to keep it away from all the animals. But this is great. I found this pattern. It's not exactly a pattern. It was like those like schematics where you have to count and all that stuff. At least I think it was. I'll put the pattern that I used in the link in the description box below, because if you can double crochet and you can chain and you're confident in your counting, I would recommend this for a blanket. It whips up really nicely, and this one in particular, it really keeps my mind active because I have to keep counting. So it's not one I would recommend like you watch TV and like you kind of like half-mindedly crochet it. You have to be aware because you have to keep counting, and the counting is not like, it's weird. I think the base number is 16, but like the numbers don't really add up. When you get in the pattern, I think maybe you'll understand what I'm saying, but sometimes like I can just like go on autopilot because like for a granny stitch, like I know it's 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1. I don't have to count that every time. I like, my body just knows how to replicate that. But this one, because and then like when math comes into play too, like if there's 15, I know like there's 5 sets of 3, right? But this one, because the numbers are like a little bit funny, like it keeps me on my toes, which I liked. It's good. Yeah, I would say it's like like, also, if you're not great with your gauge, like if you find that you kind of have like the wandering hook, as I call it, where you have like some loose stitches and some tight stitches, I would wait a little bit to try this one out. But if you are confident in your counting, your stitch evenness even, yeah, I would give this a go. Very nice. It's very cute, and it's like retro-esque, and I think it's the sweetest thing, and I kind of wish I had a baby to put in, but I don't, and I'm not going to, so I will make them for other people. I realized like a couple days ago that I never showed you guys that I finished my big blanket for the trailer, because I did, and then I washed it and I put it away, and that was sort of the end of it. The last time that I showed it to you, I was roughly here. I was in this neighborhood anyway. Maybe I was only in the blue, but I finished it up. So the last section should have ended right here at this color. This one's curry. But I added a little bit extra onto it because I wanted it just a little bit more. So I can't show it to you like from, I'd have to like go outside and then you could see it, but I don't know, it turned out so pretty. And like I was saying, so I just started this repeat. So the whole blanket just has this, and this section added to this end as well. And it doesn't look weird at all that I've done that. And yeah, I would highly recommend that if you've ended up with sort of an off-size blanket and you don't know what to do, just add some more rows, start back at the pattern, and have at her, because it's great. This is I would say this is a great blanket, again, for somebody who is a confident beginner, because you'll be learning about a herringbone half double crochet stitch, which sounds really complicated because it has lots of words, but it's not. There are loads of video tutorials out there for you to watch, but I would recommend this blanket pattern to like anybody really. I think it even would be pretty if you just did a regular half double crochet. The stitches wouldn't be quite the same size, so the math might be a little bit different, but all that being said, it is so pretty. This, I used the Craft Smart yarn from Michael's that was really cheap, because I wanted, well, because it's going in the trailer, I don't want it to be like super fancy and then get wrecked and stuff like that. And I know that this stuff will wash and it doesn't stain, so that's perfect for our endeavors. So I can't wait to get it out there, because it's winter and I am not ready to go camping yet. We're already planning to go camping though. All right, my little extra tidbit for this week is I'm hopping on the What's in My Bag bandwagon, because I don't know why, but I've become like obsessed with What's in My Bag videos. I love them so much. I really do. So I'm going to do the crochet edition of this and tell you what is in my basket. So what is in my basket? Well, I like to keep one project at a time in the basket, and I know a lot of people like yarn bags. I've never used one before, but I like baskets. So I got this one from the Home Depot. They were clearing them out. I also have another one from IKEA, and that's it for right now. I usually only try to have 2. The other one actually has a project that once I'm finished this, I'm going to be starting on, and it's super fun, and I can't wait to get started on it. We'll talk more in detail when we get to there, but for today we'll do this. So what do I keep in here? Oh, I do have a second project in here that I forgot about. My bad. I typically like to keep one thing at a time in here, because then it doesn't get all tangled up. And depending on the size of the project will depend on what I have in here. So for this shirt, this is my current project. I have the shirt in here. I didn't put a stitch marker in the last stitch, which is kind of dumb, but that's what I do occasionally. So most of the times I'll have a stitch marker on the end here, and then it's attached to this ball, and then I will keep all of the other balls of yarn in with it, just so that they don't, oh, this is limited time only. Anyway, so they don't get lost. And so I know how many I have. If I'm doing something really big, like the blanket that I just showed you in my finished projects, I will have, for that one, I had a reserve in my basement with my like long-term yarn storage, and then I would have one of each color in my basket until I ran out of it, and then I would go and retrieve another one for that. And I did that same thing, the same idea for my grandpa's blanket that I made him, that he loved. And so you could just grab it and go and you're good. And then I like baskets this size because I like to put the projects inside it. So the blanket is very big, and I ended up having to roll and kind of stuffing it in towards the end because it is big, but that is typically what I do. I haven't taken on really big projects like that for a long time. So most of the stuff fits very comfortably in here. So I'll show you quickly. This is something, it's been hurting my hands, so I don't do it very often, but I've been working on a new kind of toque that I'm just working on. We'll see. And I have a stitch marker here because I'm going, instead of going back and forth, I'm going in the round, and then this is my last stitch. And this is sock wool, sock yarn from Michaels. The two perfect pair. I'm gonna have a ton left over, I think, but I don't know. I will show you this project when it's finished. It's not very exciting right now because there's like nothing to it. I just like the colors because I've really cottoned on more to purple because I find it very complementary to orange. Okay, so that's what's actually in the basket itself. And I also have another few things, and I'm going to go over what's in the basket. So I'm going to put that in here. So typically I leave my hook case in the basket as well. So I work in this chair a lot, and I'll put all of my stuff in, or all of my like little equipment thingies in here, and then I put them in the basket, and the basket goes under my chair because it stays relatively unharmed. This case I recently got. I ordered it on Amazon, and because I was saying how like I have like 17 different places that I keep stuff, and I just wanted one. So this I think is going to work really well. So far it's working really well. I'm really happy with it. So I'll open it up and I'll show you what is in here as well. It's like my wallet, the wallet part. All right. So here's where I keep all my hooks now. These are all of my regular sized hooks. I do have my 16 millimeter, my 25 millimeter hook. I don't keep them in here obviously because they're not here. And they're also like this long, so they don't fit in here. I was looking at getting a longer case, but it was for knitting needles. And it's not that it doesn't work for knitting needles, it just doesn't work quite the same. Like these things were all like basically a uniform size, and I didn't want that. So there's that. And so this is the hook that I'm using for the sweater right now. This is a Susan Bates, and you can see it's got the pointy little, can you see it? Got the pointy little top. And I have kept my needles and hooks sort of together. This one's a little bit long, and I don't have the heart to get rid of it because I like it. But so I have my bamboo ones here, and it goes, this goes from smallest to largest. And then this is a 7. I did finally find my 7 millimeter crochet hook. Then 8, 9. This is 11 and a half and 10. I switched these around because this is one thing about having rounded corner zippers. If this was square, this would be an issue. So when I put it like this, so that's fine like this. But this one, so see the side's like a little bit short if I do it like that, and then it sticks out and you can't close it. So that's why I do it like that. I could also find a better way to put these in some kind of order. Whoops. And I put my hook down because then I can see, whoops, oh my goodness, come on girl, let's get with it. Because then I can see what size they are right here. Because if I put them the other way, that gets covered up. And then on this side I have, these are my littler hooks that I'm looking to reinvest in because these are not my favorites. They always look dirty. It makes me so annoyed. They always look dirty. Maybe they are always dirty. I don't know, but they get dirty, they get gross. And then I put, this is my, oh yeah, so I don't have a 5. So this is 2.5 through 4, then 5.5. And I don't know why I have that one because I have a 5.5 right here. Or is it right here? And I like that one better. I had a 5.5 of this somewhere and I can't find it. It's probably in the trailer actually, now that I'm thinking of it. Anyway, so then I put, these ones don't quite fit, like they're a little bit wobbly in there, so I just put these two Susan Bates hooks together. They are a 6.5 and a 6, I think. Yes. So that is the front portion of my pouch. And then in the back, I keep the fun things. No, they're not that fun. In the back. So it comes with this big pouch here and then these two smaller ones, which is really, really great. So I've been keeping my stitch markers in here. So I have, these are my Clover ones, and like, duh, of course I bought them because they're orange and turquoise. And then I have my original set that, these ones, so these ones I'll use still, like I showed you in that little thing that I picked up out of the bottom of the basket, is that I'll use them for like holding stitches onto something for like kind of long-term storage, because they don't slide that well and I don't really care for them. But the Clover ones, if I'm doing a lot of stitch marking, I'll use those because they slide in and out a lot easier, and I just prefer that. And then in this pouch, I used to have a tape measure in here, a flat one, but it was so big and kind of cumbersome, and I don't use it all that often, so I took it out and I put that back in my desk. But I have this little hand lotion thing, which I don't really like these tubes because you can't recycle them, but I don't have like a small flat thing to put my homemade lotion in, so I have this in here because I don't like to crochet with dry hands. It feels yucky. It's gross. And then in this side as well, I have, these are little, I think these were my cat hair trimming scissors. They might be Wall brand. Let's see. No, it doesn't say. But so these are just little sharp scissors. They have we got them with a hair cutting kit. That's all I can really remember. So I put those in there. And then my daughter is currently sewing something, so she took all the needles for some reason. I have a tiny little plastic case that I also put in here that is full of my weaving end in needles. In my old case that I had, the pink one, if you remember, I used to just poke it because it was kind of felt inside. I would just poke the needles in there so that they would stay together with the hooks in that. But I don't want to do it to this one just because of the type of the fabric that's in here. I'll show you again. It's like that smooth sort of like jacket, and I don't want it to be full of holes and rust. So I have another little container that I keep for that stuff. This is what I would love to know in the comments below. Are you a bag person? Do you have yarn and knitting and crochet bags all over, or are you a basket person? Do you prefer baskets? And then let me know why that might be. Let me know what else you're working on today. I love seeing that. There was a beautiful commenter, and I'm sorry I don't have her name written down right now, but she was talking about how she was making socks and she was crocheting. No, she was knitting. She was doing some knitting testing for something, and I was like, oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's so exciting. And I hope that you guys are working on great things. I hope that you're staying safe and staying warm. And I am so grateful from the very bottom of my vagabond heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you would like to give me a like and a subscribe, that would be great. It really helps my channel. And click the bell to get notified when I upload my next episode. So glad that you joined me today, and I hope you have a great week. Bye!